Now I'm in France. You can see it with my clothes because, of course, it's cold here. I had a few things I need to take care of. And yes, as many of you probably know, this is also a part of building a house. We all have things to take care of: family, responsibilities, obligation, things that simply can't wait. Building a house abroad can be complicated, especially when you don't have many people you can truly rely on. The house isn't even fully secure yet. When the windows aren't installed and the door is not locked, you can be sure people might try to steal things: cable, windows, lights, almost anything. But in my case, I feel lucky because I trust my mother, and right now she's keeping an eye on the construction site for me while I'm away. Anyway, I hope you all doing well. Today we're gonna take a look at the electrical installation, the air conditioning system, and the setting drywall work. Believe me, there are quite a few things I'd like you to understand, especially when it comes to the aircon. And before we start this video, you remember what I told you earlier about the material and the quotation? Sometimes a company says your kitchen and tell you, I can be maybe lower the price a little, but it's difficult. And what actually happened behind the scene is that they quietly downgrade the material. They go from HMR to MDF, and sometimes from MDF to something even cheaper. Just look at my kitchen. Out of curiosity, I checked the quotation again, and the original quote was around 20k euro with what looks like a decent melamine finish. But when you look closer at the structure, the wood is actually particle boards. And that's how the price suddenly dropped from 20 to 30k. To be clear, there are products for every budget, and that's perfectly fine. But what I'm criticism is how it's done when material quietly downgrade without clearly explain it to the client. I expect this like a hidden effect. And as you can see on my quotation, nowhere you can see if it's particle boards, MDF or HMR. I'm gonna show you this. Nowhere it's you can see which material they use. They hide everything, you know. And finally, that's why the price dropped from 20 to 30. So finally, I'm gonna change the side of the camera and we're gonna start everything. As you can see, the air conditioning pipes are usually made of copper. Copper is a very good conductor both for cold and heat, which makes it used for refrigeration system to probably protect and insulate these pipes. They are covered with insulating foam. A good installer always pay attention to this detail because proper insulation helps maintain efficiency and energy loss. There is also something important to understand about the aircon system. The future the indoor unit is from the outdoor unit, the more efficiency you can lose. When the distance becomes too long, the system has to work harder to reach the desired temperature inside the room. In practice, that means more energy consumption, and sometimes you end up lowering the temperature even more just to achieve the final comfort level you want. When a system consumes more energy and works harder over time, it can also lead to more wear equipment, which means more maintenance in the long run. In this house, we designed the system so that the outdoor unit are never far from the indoor unit. We also choose to separate the system with individual motors outdoor for each indoors units. This makes maintenance much easier, and if one unit ever has a problem, the other three can continue running. In most houses, it's actually quite rare for all conditioners to run at the same time. Running one large outdoor unit just to cool a single room is not always the most efficient solution, either economically and environmentally. Another important point is the distance of the piping. If you have only the outdoor unit located on one side of the house, but the indoor unit is on the other side, you need much more longer pipes and electrical connection. There are many factors to consider, so be careful not to be missed by salespersons who telling you bullshit like you absolutely need a very powerful aircon system. Of course, it's benefit them to sell a large and more expensive unit, but in reality, it's not really necessary. You also need to consider the ceiling heights. In this house, we have ceiling of around 3 meters, including the ceiling recesses, and most importantly, the walls themselves. We use 20 centimeter bricks, and when you add plaster on both sides, plus the primer and the paint layer, the walls end up being close to 30 centimeters brick. So this helps control thermal transfer. In many other houses, you see much thinner walls, sometimes only 7 or 10 centimeters. When you place your hand on those walls after 5 p.m., after the sun eating all day, they're still very hot. In our case, the walls remain cool. This creates both an ecological and economic advantage because it reduces the needs for excessive air conditioning. The house stays naturally comfortable and lively cool, and when you open the large sliding window and let the wine flow right through, the natural ventilation works beautifully. Now about Mitsubishi versus Daikin, the big debate. In the reality, both brands are leader in the aircon market. In our case, we choose Mitsubishi mainly because maintenance is a bit simpler and the outdoor unit and indoor unit is more quieter than the Daikin system. But in the end, the most important thing for us was to keep the same installer we use when we have built our first house in UAE. Because the most important thing is not the brand. What really matters is the quality of the installation. For the electrical system, we have choose the Yazaki cable. As you can see, the electrical conduit are not bent randomly or forced into place. The installer actually use a heat gun and a flexible guide to shape the conduits properly, which helps avoid sharp bends and keeps the installation clean and well organized. Now we arrive at the electrical panel. We choose Schneider equipment. There is really much more to say about this. The circuit breaker are Schneider as well. Each room has two separate electrical circuits, one for the ambient lighting and the other one is for the main functional lighting. The ambient lighting will be dimmable using touch switches. That's a good detail. And at the end of the video, I will show you an exclusive preview I sent to my electrician. For the drywall, there is not too much to add. The video speaks for themselves. We choose SCG board, which is a well-known Thai manufacturer. Inside the house, we use standard drywall, and for the exterior area, we use moisture-resistant boards, similar to the material used for the finishes. You can recognize them easily because they are green, and this type of board is designed to resist humidity, and they are much better. As for the installation, you can clearly see that the team is working with a laser to keep everything perfectly aligned. Okay, as promised at the beginning of the video, here's a small exclusive preview. I send the electrician the lightning plans for the LED setup. Take care about the furniture. Be careful to the LED don't came across the furniture. The house will be entirely equipped with LED lighting. For the functional lighting, we use natural white, and for all the ambient lighting, we use warm white. We also add a RGB lighting on the terrace. For example, if it's Christmas and you want to change the atmosphere a bit, you can switch the light to red or any other color you like. This is small detail, but it can really change the mood of the space. And of course, communication about these things for a distance is never easily, but with clear plans, it becomes more easier to explain exactly what you want. Next step, ties and painting. Stay tuned and thanks for watching.